Hello there and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming here with another The Hunter Call of the Wild video. Now today's video is going to be a selection of highlight clips from the past couple of days, and I have got some trophies that I am so excited to share with you guys. So we're starting off here night hunting on Yukon Valley in multiplayer, and I was actually up here looking for a legendary fox because that's one of the last diamonds I need in this game when I spotted this max weight moose, and he looked different to me as he ran in there, and I was fairly confident he was piebald, but because of where he was stood I wanted to make sure it wasn't just the trees, and moving around the lake I could see that he definitely was a piebald. Now to get a piebald moose of this size is something I've been wanting to do, and it's really awesome to finally have another really big rare moose like this. Shame he wasn't a level 5, but honestly, he's gonna look awesome in the lodge. Like, the moose really do look cool in the lodge on the full body platforms, just because they're so big. Having like a really big rare like that just always looks really cool. And the foxes at this lake were all really small, so it was kind of nice to actually have something that made it worth coming up here on this multiplayer. You can see just there, you can see the piebald pattern. I know it's harder to see at night, but you can see that he's definitely not a common. And I took this shot, and his health didn't start dropping before I lost the spot on him, and so I was kind of concerned that I might have got a bit of a dodgy shot. So I kept checking the map to see if he died, and it was still showing that he hadn't died at this point, and I was thinking, okay, I must have hit something bad. But then the hunting pressure popped up, and he actually hadn't gone very far. But this is such an impressive sight, walking up on a rare moose of this caliber with such a big rack. Like, that just looks incredible. The big animal rares are awesome. And of course he scored gold. They always make gold if you hit them right when they're in that max weight estimate. And, you know, he's quite a big gold as well. So definitely one that's going into the main lodge, and something that I'm really excited to have in there. And then again on Yukon Valley, I was down here looking for an albino grizzly bear, and what I found was an albino, but it wasn't a grizzly bear, it was another male harlequin duck. There was actually a couple of mythical grizzly bears hanging out in the area. No legendaries, no melanistics, no albinos, but this was definitely, you know, something that made it worth coming down here. And I was hoping that he would make gold with that 6 estimate, and yeah, I checked the range there, and it was 175 metres, so I knew that I should be able to hit him if I zeroed for 150 and shot a little bit high. But of course, sometimes I do miss stuff off the water, so I'm always a little bit nervous about making sure I get a good shot. But I was fairly confident I could do it, knowing that I was right on the range, and I dropped him with the first shot. Now, the albino harlequins are definitely one of my favourite rares in the game. They just look awesome, and I really love the harlequins. I think they're such a lovely looking little duck, and he did make gold at 6.50, so definitely another addition for the main lodge, just because they're so beautiful. Definitely one of my favourite bird rares overall. I think they are an absolutely stunning little bird. Now moving on to a clip from my own Hirschfelden map. When I was out here on Hirsch the other day looking for fox drinking zones, just to check that I didn't have a random legendary hanging out on my map, I actually picked up a piebald fallow buck track. Now it was at night, so I left it, and I decided basically the other day that I would come back and look for this buck. And I decided that probably the smartest thing to do was put it to their drink time and check all the drink zones in the area. And quite quickly I found where he was drinking. It was actually the first little pond that I went to. He was actually there drinking. But he had already fled off, so I changed the time, reset everything, and came back to look for him. There was actually a good number of fallow here and a couple of bigger bucks, but the one that obviously I'm most interested in is that piebald. Now, he was a lower weight estimate. He was one of these 65 to 82 kilo weight estimates, so I knew he wasn't going to be very big, but I was hoping that he'd have the decent level 3 rack, where they're kind of like a small version of like the bigger racks, where it's like I've still got the decent sized palms and everything. So I decided that I would start rattling here with the antler rattler, just to try and call any of them out from up in that brush, because he was actually drinking on the other side of the lake from what I could see, but I just wanted to make sure that I called them all out of there before anything else happened, because at this point I'd already come and tried to actually locate him, and he always just seemed to escape me. But that brush over on that side of the lake is quite thick, and they can hide quite easily up in there. So that's why I'm using the antler rattler there to try and cool him down. Now, at this point, I couldn't see him, and I was wondering if he hadn't showed up again. However, as I looked across a little bit, I could see one of the other bucks, and just behind him, I could make out the piebald patterning on that buck that I was actually looking for. Now, you can see just how well hidden he is up in there. And I didn't want to actually shoot him while he was there, but you can see him here a little bit more clearly, I hope. Again, it's kind of hard to see with them being in that darker area. So I decided I'd give the rattler a few more goes and see if I could actually cool him down to where it was a bit easier to see, mainly just for the video at this point. But at the same time, I just wanted to get him down because I'd been looking for him and trying to get him to actually be in his zone for quite a while at this point. Seeing as he wasn't anything particularly massive, I wasn't too fussed about spending too much time going after him. So when he decided that he wasn't going to move and just kind of got stuck there, I guess, with the travel, it said he was travelling, but he just wouldn't move. I decided I would just shoot him while he was up there with the M1. But he did actually have one of the racks that I really liked for the level 3s, so that made me really happy to see. And I managed to drop him there, as I said, with the M1. So really, really, really nice to actually get a rare fallow deer off Hirschfelden. Normally you'll see rare fallow deer these days coming off Te Arawara, so I thought this would be a nice little different one to see for you guys. And this actually does mean I now have 3 piebald fallow deer, so he's now in a mount with 2 other piebalds, which looks quite cool. But yeah, definitely a really nice looking animal, and as I said, nice rack for a smaller buck. Still got like a decent amount of palmation. It's a good young looking buck. So yeah, really, really happy with that. And now moving on to a clip from Silver Ridge Peaks multiplayer. I came to this lake specifically hoping to try and find a rare female mountain lion for the tactical espionage multi-mount. And it was sort of at the middle time for their drink time, like about halfway through, so I was hoping that they would all be in their zones and that there should be a good number of cats to look over. Well, I spotted a female and a couple of males and another female, and they were all decent size, and then as I looked to the left, I spotted a pure black cat walking in from the left. That is a level 6 male melanistic mountain lion. As I said, I was hoping for a female, but a level 6 male is definitely really cool. Most mountain lion males will make gold. I don't think I've personally ever had one make silver that's been 6 or above, but of course they are sort of borderline. But as long as I made a good shot, I knew that he should make gold. So I wanted to just alert him there with the 22 because I wasn't entirely sure where he was going, and last thing I wanted was to lose this cat. That is just such an awesome sight to see. They're exactly what you think of when you think of a black panther. They're just one of the coolest looking rares in the entire game. And I have been specifically looking for one for my PC account pretty much since I got this account. And this is, to me, is much better than finding a diamond mountain lion. They're just beautiful. One day it would be quite cool if I could get a rare diamond mountain lion, but for now just any of the rares look awesome. And also, just look at the number of cats here. It is a really, really, really good spot for mountain lions, and I absolutely love it. And because it's multiplayer, I wanted to try and make as quick a shot as I possibly could, whilst keeping it as a good shot to try and keep the gold score on this guy. So I managed to line something up I felt would get a lung, and he started to drop pretty quickly, so I was pretty confident that I'd got a single lung there. And unfortunately, I have been having a lot of crashing issues with the game recently since the last update, so I was trying to be as quick as possible there to get this trophy on the ground. And walking over to him, just the sheer number of cats that were still trying to leave the area. I was trying to dodge them so that I didn't get killed as best as I could, but I did get hit there. but just walking up on them, they are just such a beautiful rare. And their eyes always seem to be glowing, which is pretty cool. So I just decided I'd take a quick couple of screenshots of him on the ground and then pick him up as quickly as possible to avoid losing him. And he did make gold at 36.50, got him in the lung there, pretty much exactly what I was hoping for. Melanistic male mountain lion. An absolute beautiful animal that is going to look fantastic in the trophy lodge. In the multi-mount with that piebald blacktail from a previous video, it's going to look absolutely fantastic. And now moving on to a clip from a Quattro Colinas multiplayer server that I joined. I basically joined this server just hoping to find anything really for the trophy lodge, and I spotted what looked to be a huge mouflon, and it sure enough was a level 5, with a couple of decent 4s in the same group. Now, something that was quite funny about this is that after I shot this guy, the next lake I went to also had a level 5, but unfortunately it was a level 5 troll. But this guy looked absolutely huge to me in comparison to this other one that I shot afterwards. The curl on his horns looked so deep, and I wasn't sure if he was going to make it or not, because mouflon do like to troll a lot at level 5. And they're definitely probably the better of the looking sheep species in the game. They really do look fantastic, and the diamonds and the level 5s really do look huge. Just the size of the horns in compared to the actual animal looks amazing. So I'm always happy to find a level 5 mouflon, that's for sure. So I decided that I would take him with the M1 as soon as he gave me a shot. You can see that the level 4 next to him is also a really decent size. Not anywhere near being diamond potential, but definitely a really good animal. And he did turn, and so I knew as soon as he picked his head up again, I could get a nice, probably single lung and heart shot. That was what I was hoping for. So I just waited for him to pick his head up, and I popped him straight in the chest and dropped him on the spot. So I figured I probably did hit heart, which is always really, really nice. And walking over to him, it was a vital shot. Now, like I said, I really wasn't sure if this guy was going to make it. He actually looked smaller on the ground than he did actually from a distance. But he did just make diamond, and that's always really nice at 180.30 when 179 is diamond, or 179 point something is diamond. But actually managed to double lung and heart shot him. So really, really, really nice animal. Something very nice for the trophy lodge, and one I haven't had in a while, so definitely really cool to find. I then ended up on a Rancho del Arroyo multiplayer server and spotted what appeared to be a very pale looking female pheasant. So I got the Argus scope on it, and you can see quite clearly there that that is some kind of rare hen, and it was very definitely either a leucistic or an albino. I wasn't entirely sure at this point, but I thought she probably was an albino. And now, of course, the way to deal with pheasants is to run at them and then see what part of brush or wherever they're hiding, because they will always run into brush and go defensive before they will actually fly. And now, of course, I could have plinked her off the ground with the 22, but I always do try to get my pheasants in the air. Even if they're just a female and the score really doesn't matter, I do try to get them out of the air just because it's a nicer challenge. Now, I actually did lose sight of her when she went to hide in some brush, but I picked up her disturbed vegetation here, and you can see she is an albino, and you can just follow these tracks quite easily normally to where they are, just like I did here, and she took off, and I managed to drop her here with the 20 gauge. Now, I do apologise for that slight bit of lag there. Unfortunately, that is just something that's happening with the game at the moment since the Rancho update, especially in this particular area on Rancho, there tends to be quite a lot of lag. But as you can see, she is beautifully white, and these albino hens seem to have like a almost pink hue to their feathers. I think they're really beautiful. But this is my second albino hen, and I'm so pleased to have it. They look fantastic in the lodge. All the rare pheasants do, whether they're male or female. So definitely one that I'm really pleased to have ready to go to the lodge. And finally, I have been so excited to put this out into a video since this happened last night. I was tracking a max weight fox track on Yukon Valley, and as you can see there, it was a 9 legendary fox. I have tracked so many max weight fox tracks, only for them to end up being a mythical or a level 7. And the fact that this guy was actually a legendary, I just couldn't believe it. I was in complete and utter shock when I spotted him. And I, at one point, even lost his tracks because he went back over some older tracks. And at the moment, tracking anything that's got very small footprints, like foxes, is really hard because the particle effect just isn't in game at the moment like it used to be. And that means that anything that's got really, really tiny little footprints, it's just almost impossible to see the tracks. But the fact that I managed to chase him out into this dead forest meant that it was easier to keep tabs on him. And once I'd spotted him and I knew where he was going, it made everything so much easier. But this sent my heart racing, almost as bad as when I'd seen a great one for the first time, because I had never seen a legendary fox until this point. It was one of the last couple of diamonds I had to get in the game, and just seeing a legendary just was amazing. Where I spotted him previously, he ran slightly over the top of a little ridge and then I couldn't see him. So I decided what I was going to do was purposefully spook him and hope that he ran up sort of this sort of very slight slope going upwards. And that's exactly what he did. It was absolutely exactly what he did, and it was perfect. Because they're so small, they don't run very fast. So I knew that he would stop well within sight, and this meant that I would be able to get a shot on this guy. I was so terrified that I was going to crash or get kicked or something, because when it's an animal you've never seen before, it's just so much pressure. I was scared of messing it up. There's just so many things that could go wrong with such a small animal. And these are, like, I have to say, this is a very rare diamond to find. Like I said, I have looked for legendary fox the entire time I've played this game, never seen one. This is the first time I'm ever seeing one. After tracking max weight tracks every time I see them, everything. Just never encountered a legendary fox. And I have even been told by other people that is one of the hardest diamonds to get in this game. And there's just no mistaking that these guys are going to be hard to find because they're so small. Like the tracks I've gone on to get, you know, even to find those mythicals and level 7s that I was talking about, all of those tracks were extremely long because they are so small, they can hide so easily in brush, which is what made this track special because it was in such an open area. And he did end up just walking straight back towards me, which is something that I couldn't have planned for. I didn't expect him to do this at all. And it just worked out so beautifully that he did. Because as I mentioned, they are such a small animal, there is so much margin for this to go wrong. But as he just walked straight towards me, I prepared myself to take a chest shot, which again, not what I was expecting to do, but it just worked out this way. And he just got closer and closer and closer, and then I dropped him. And as I said, I wasn't expecting to take a chest shot, I was expecting to make him go broadside, but the fact that he was going to come that close and just make it such an easy shot, there was almost nothing that could go wrong. You know, the way that foxes walk and they tilt their head to one side, it just gave me just a perfect view on those vitals. And as you can see, that's vital blood. So I didn't even stop to take screenshots, just quickly picked him up, and he was a diamond fox. Right on diamond requirement. And that is just the coolest thing. I got neck and single lung. It was a slightly bit high, but either way, if I'd just got neck, it would have been fine. Neck counts as a vital. So yeah, I just can't believe it. And you can see there the 2.1 kilometer tracking distance, but it felt like much longer because of all the zigzagging that this guy did. But I just cannot believe I have a diamond fox. He's not a monster diamond fox. He is, as I said, just on diamond requirement. But I honestly don't care. This is the coolest, probably one of the coolest diamonds I've harvested. And I just love the red fox. I think they look so beautiful with this bright orange coat. And I could not wait to put him in the lodge. He was going straight onto a full body platform into a multi-mount. Just because this is just one of the coolest and rarest diamonds you can get in this game. And I was just so excited to actually get to record this to share with you guys. I have been waiting all day to get this out. I'm so thrilled to have this. So now the only diamond left that I have never shot in this game, apart from the one mission one, is the brown bear. So I will be spending some time on Medved looking for a legendary brown bear, and hopefully one will eventually pop up and make diamond for me, and then I will have shot, across both platforms, I will have shot every single diamond animal in the game. So I'm really excited about trying to do that. But that is going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys again soon.